Hey guys, how's it going? Ashton here with another Knife Guy channel. Today we're going to be doing a little discussion on my collection. I don't have a big collection. I'm not the type of guy that'll go out and buy every single new knife that under the sun that comes out and and do a review on it and keep it around, carry it. I'm not like that. I curate my collection to be very small, to include things that have unique properties, whether it be steel or a locking type or a place of origin or something. I don't know. It's just got to be special to me in some way. There are a few things that I don't generally like to keep in my collection. One thing are liner locks. There are a couple of examples of liner locks that I absolutely love. Uh, First example being the Rat Model 1 here. This is probably, for the size, price, and use philosophy, the Rat Model 2. I'm sorry, Rat Model 2. Uh, it's probably the best liner lock you're going to find uh, in the price range, in the size category, and all of that. I absolutely love it. This is in D2 steel, but you'd be hard pressed to find it. You jump up, you get to things like Civivi, and those guys are doing absolutely incredible work as well. The Civivi Naha is one of my favorite liner locks. I have that in my collection, and even the Stratera is something that I would definitely consider. You know, the the reason being because those are incredibly well done. The Civivi Naha is one of the finest liner locks I've had in my hand. Not even mentioning the price point. Another thing you could say about liner locks is the Vanguard series, and Kaiser does really well. The Kaiser being my personal favorite. Um, but the thing about liner locks is they're not reinforced by your grip. They're basically just dependent on the strength of that interface with the liner and the tang of the blade. And it's, to me, it's not very confidence inspiring. I've had liner locks slip on me, and I've had other people say that I won't carry a liner lock because I've had one disengage on me before. The liner locks that I've shown you, the Rat Model 1 and the Civivi Naha, I don't think those would be a concern for those. And also liner locks with very, very thick liners, I don't think those would be a concern either. But generally, I don't want to spend the money to get a liner lock in my collection when I know that I probably won't carry it. I've carried this Rat Model 1 a lot, and I don't think any other liner lock, uh, other than some of the Civivi offerings and even some of the Vanguard offerings from Kaiser, would satisfy my needs. So yeah, so that's one of the caveats that I have. I don't really carry a lot of liner locks in my collection. So that being said, um, frame locks, back locks. Um, I don't have a compression lock in, button locks, that kind of thing I have. The reason I don't have a compression lock or a Spyderco in general is because there just seems to be a lot of people reviewing them and talking about them already. I've had a Endura stainless steel and regular one, and I'm not a huge fan of the thin blade stock. It's okay, but whatever. I'm not a huge Spyderco guy. The Spyderco that I would probably get if I were to choose would probably be the Spidey Chef or the Spyderco Shaman. Those two look very interesting to me. The Spidey Chef I just haven't pulled the trigger on, just because I don't know why. I need to get the Spidey Chef. But the Shaman, I'm waiting for that to come out in something like Crewwear or an interesting steel. Then I would really be interested in getting one of those. Another Spyderco that I'm interested in is the native lockback with LLC 200 and the Salt native. That would be really awesome to see too. So getting on to my collection, so I keep different locks, different steels, that kind of thing, and it's typically really small. So you know, basically the goal of the channel is to just go through my collection and tell you why it's stayed, why I like it. There's usually a story behind each one of the knives I have in my collection. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the caveats on my thing. So I generally like harder use, heavier, and more robust knives. Um, and if I do have a lighter knife like the Rat Model 2 or the ProTech Calmigo, I'll carry a larger knife as well. So I like carrying two knives sometimes. It's it's good to be able to have a bigger knife for bigger cutting tasks and a smaller knife to do things that, you know, you wouldn't want to hurt your bigger, nicer folder with. That being said, I guess I'll just go through some of my top knives right now in my collection. I'm just bringing some over here on the table. We talked already about the Rat Model 1, or sorry, Rat Model 2. Rat Model 1 is great too, but I just, you know, I don't really carry it that much because I have other nicer other nicer knives with that that have stronger locks than the Rat Model 1, in my opinion. My opinion only. So one of the first knives that I got in my collection was a Cold Steel Voyager. That was the first knife was an extra large, but then I shortly after I got the Cold Steel large in, and honestly, it's still one of the best knives I think in my collection. It's super strong. The ergonomics are great on it, and the blade is very, very useful. Only thing I would say is I would also really consider the clip point if you're looking for a little bit more utility. Let's say in a bushcraft scenario or something like that. But the Tanto point I just thought looked really cool, and it was a really cool sort of profile, and the strength on it. It's probably one of my favorite series that Cold Steel does is the Voyager series. You know, they have the Recon one, they have the American Lawman, but the Voyager pretty much does what those things do as well, and it costs a lot less. Next thing I got, let's see, the Mastrap Keen. This is probably one of the best examples of a titanium frame lock on the market today as far as value is concerned. It's produced by WE Knives. It's a Ray Laconico design, and it's distributed by Mastrap. You might be able to get them on the website now, or you might have to request it, I'm not sure. But these were very popular, and they said they'd keep them in stock. But a lot of, you know, this was a knife that essentially broke the internet when it came out, you know, several months ago. And once I got it in hand, I understood why. It's a great design, very sleek, very modern, and yet traditional looking. Incredible accomplishment by Ray Laconico. I love the way it looks closed as well. Has a very traditional look to it, and just the detent is nice and snappy. The blade shape is excellent. The grind is fantastic. Just one of the best examples of a titanium frame lock that you can get. That's why I have it in my collection. Another really, really good one is the Kaiser Mjolnir. Now, this is probably, in my collection, this is probably the knife I've carried the most. It is incredibly easy to carry. It does come in at about 5.6 ounces, although you don't really feel it. It's got one of the best actions I've had in a knife in a very long time, and it just closes just like a guillotine. So it's an amazing knife. The ergonomics are incredible. The steel is M390. The lockup is like a bank vault. You can't. I've batoned with this knife with no problems whatsoever. The only thing that I do complain about is there's a little tiny bit of play in the detent there, and I've actually called in a warranty for a replacement lock side just to see. But you know, the original lock actually had a better fitted detent, but you know, that's okay. It's still one of my absolute favorite knives. It's a TK Knives design, and as far as custom knives are concerned, this is probably one that I would consider from TK Knives. Yeah, absolutely incredible knife. Probably one of the knives I'd grab. Probably the knife I'd grab in a fire if I left. You know, if I had to leave my house. Another one on the table is the Cold Steel 8015, which we've talked about before. It's one of my favorite knives, period. It would be a hard choice between this and the Mjolnir, to be completely honest. It just represents so much that I love about this, about knives in general. The shape is incredible. The ergonomics are incredible. The lock mechanism's innovative, very strong. Cold Steel is the knife company I started with, and when I got into the knife collecting hobby, and I'm really glad that they kind of came back with something incredibly innovative instead of going down the same route that they always have. So I really hope to see more of this from Cold Steel, and this is probably something I'll keep in my collection for a long time. And if anybody knows of anybody making scales for the AD-15, please leave a comment down below. I'm very interested in getting some nice micarta ones for this guy. Anyway, moving on. So we've talked about the Rat Model 2. Again, great liner lock. Really fidgetable. The action's incredible on it. And I don't know why people say it's ugly. I think it looks really sleek and sexy, especially in this desert tan look. And, I've carried this with, in a suit pocket with a nice watch. It looks great. It's a nice classic shape, nice classic blade shape. I love it. Next knife I'm going to talk about, last little knife, is this ProTech Calmigo. ProTech is a company that I absolutely love. Nick Shabazz was the one that turned me on to him. Thank you for that. And the first purchase I made from of a ProTech was this Calmigo, and I am absolutely over the moon with it. It is an incredible little California legal knife. As you can see, I've done a little modification to it just to make it my own, but it's one of those knives that it's the only automatic in my collection, and it's a push button lock. It's got a secondary safety here. This is just like a fidgeter's dream. It snaps open really well. Has a nice blade shape, nice even grind on it. Awesome. Nice little lanyard hole, perfect pocket clip. And it's one of those knives that's a perfect little big knife. You carry it and you don't feel underknifed. At least I don't feel underknifed at all, even with that less than 2-inch blade shape. It's California legal, so I literally carry this with me everywhere I go, along with, lately it's been the AD-15. So those have been my carries of the last, several weeks. But yeah, if you're in California and you're looking for a California legal auto, I highly, highly recommend the Calmigo. If you're one of those guys that likes a little harder use knife when you need it, perfect little can opener that's not going to snap the tip, go with the Calmigo. So I think that's all, guys. Appreciate you stopping in. Let me know in the comments what you think about my collection, what you think, what direction I should go. Thank you. Leave a comment down below, hit the subscribe button, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.